Greetings! You guys should have listened to pages 54 through 57 in the book. What we're going to do now is we're just going to take some notes based off of what you listened to. So we're going to do some notes on the parts of a flower. Our objective is really just to understand flowering parts. So you need to have out your notebook and you need to be writing down notes. This will be tomorrow. I'm recording this today, but there is your date for tomorrow. Flower parts. So the first thing we're going to start off with is I'm actually just going to draw a flower. This is the bottom of my flower. We know that flowers have roots and stems and leaves, but they also have, if they are a flowering plant, they have a flower. Not all plants have all four flowering parts, but most of them, not all plants have all parts, but most of them do. So the first thing we're going to look at is the petals. The petals are generally colorful because they want to attract bees, butterflies, birds, anything that can pollinate. So they're attracting pollinators. And we'll just give an example of bees. Bugs have a very important role in pollinating. So those are the petals. Now underneath the petal are kind of these other pieces. These are actually called the sepals. And these sepals are just protectors. They actually protect the flower as it grows. So they're protecting the flower. Now within the flower, I'm going to draw kind of the inside. So we have something that kind of comes up. It looks kind of like a bulb shape, like this. This is called the pistil. Yes, kind of like a gun, but it does not shoot anything. It actually takes things in. So the pistil is the female part of the plant. Okay, and it's the female part that makes the eggs. Or makes the egg cells. And where do they make the egg cells? Well, they make them down here in this bottom part, and this is called the ovary. It's where the egg cells are. Now, I'll tell you, if your plant is not looking like mine, so if your flower is getting crowded, you need to maybe start over and make it big like I have made mine. Even bigger if you want to fill up the whole page, that's fine. But you want to make sure you're able to get all these parts in. All right, so pistil is the female part, makes the egg cells. This is the ovary where those egg cells are actually growing. So the next thing I want you guys to think about is this little part at the top of the pistil is called the stigma. The stigma is this sticky spot that collects pollen. It's a sticky spot that collects the pollen. So when a critter comes along, they have pollen stuck to their body, they land here, they're going to leave that pollen behind. That pollen's going to work its way down till it gets to the ovary, and then fertilization happens. But we'll be talking about that. So here is that sticky stigma. The other one I want to talk about is off of here are these little, they look kind of like little legs, and they're off of both sides, but obviously I'm not going to write them over there. This whole little leg is called a stamen. All right, and the stamen is the male part of the flower. And this is what produces the pollen grains. And that pollen is what gets into the pistil and goes down to the ovary. Now at the top of the stamen, there's something called an anther. And this whole thing is the stamen. This whole thing, including the anther, is the stamen. But the very tippy top is called an anther. And it holds the pollen. By holding the pollen, a creature goes past it, rubs off, gets the pollen, and ends up depositing it on some plant stigma. And by doing that, it ends up fertilizing the plant. So just thinking about all of these components. Anther, the whole thing is a stamen. Pistil, ovary where the egg cells are. Stigma, the sticky part of the top, and those petals and sepals. All parts of a plant. Or of a flower. A flowering flower, that is. A flowering plant? Yeah, something like that.